Hey everybody, it's Lisa Young Sutton with the first video in the Animal Communication series. And the crowd goes wild. Let's all do a wave. Okay, before I begin, if you find anything in this video helpful, please give it a little old likey and hit the subscribe button down here in the lower right-hand corner somewhere. It's a little thank you to me for making these videos. Now, before we get started, what are the benefits of using cards to connect with your pets? Well, other than the obvious fact that you'll gain a deeper understanding of them, the practice will expand your card meaning repertoire and open you up to a new way of using this amazing card system. Also, asking what's on your pet's mind is another fun way to perform a daily draw. Okay, so, it's just another fun way to practice. And believe me, the more fun you can have with these cards and the more relaxed you are, the faster you're going to learn the system. You got to get the pressure off. If you're under all kinds of pressure for rules and trying to, get it right, that's the biggest hindrance to learning. Okay, that's the greatest obstacle to learning, believe me. Okay. So, to begin, to show you the book, here's the book, my book, The Petite Lenormand Oracle by Lisa Young Sutton, on, let's see, page 330. Let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, page 330, I have a chapter on animal communication with the Lenormand cards. And steps, all that fun stuff. And then here, this is what I really want to show you on page 335, animal communication keywords. So we have a few, several pages of them here, okay? And there's also missing and lost objects, people and animals chapter. Okay, well, anyway, I just wanted to show you that I have an animal communication chapter in there. And the keywords, you'll find that the keywords, some of them pertain to the animals themselves and others are related to locating missing animals. So you'll find some that you'll think, like near a movie theater or something like that, and you'll think, what does that have to do with a pet? But that's from all of my work in locating missing animals. And these keywords are ones that I've developed in the last several years that I've been using the Lenormand deck to for animal communication. Okay, so that's how they came about. All right, now. Okay, so in this video, you might think this looks familiar. Well, that's because in the last video I did was the 3-card with houses, and that's what I'm going to use for this reading. Okay. Now, you know what? I wanted to say there are other animal spreads in my book. Now, this is not one of them because this I started using this actually after I had already submitted my manuscript to be published. And I also really like my 25-card petite tableau for animals, and I will be doing a video on that as well. Okay, so now this reading, oh wait, hang on, the deck. I am using the Celtic Lenormand by Chloe McCracken, and this is one of my favorite decks for animal readings. I really can't say why other than the fact that it was maybe one of the first decks I used for animal readings, and I think it was because of the extra cards. I mean, obviously there's a cat card. Now notice this is 18. So you can just replace 18 dog with 18 cat if you'd like, or you can use both of them. If you're performing a reading for a dog and a cat, you can include both in the deck, which I did a reading with the 25-card petite tableau and did that, and that, I'll probably make the next video on that. Anyway, let's see, what else do we have? We have chickens, and we have owls, and we have 2 different snake cards in here. I mean, there are some extra animal cards in here, but I don't know. This deck just seems to have really good energy for animal readings. So you can use any deck, you know. So don't fret if you don't have it, and you don't have to rush out and buy it. Though who am I to stop you from buying a Lenormand deck? Not me. Okay, so now this is a reading I just did a few days ago, and it's for one of my neighbors who has a cat. Okay, and I've done many readings for her. Anyway, we're going to call her Sabrina, and we're going to call the cat Salem. All right, and a little background is she's a single young woman, and she rents a house, small house, here in my neighborhood, and she's had Salem for 4 years. Okay, so Salem has been a bit out of sorts lately, and Sabrina says there are no changes in her life at all, and Salem was just at the vet. He's in perfect health, and he's not acting, you know, he's eating normally, and so she's not thinking at all that it's a health issue, but he's just been acting a little funny, and she just wants to know what's bothering him. So now, I have to say that if this were a new client and somebody, you know, told me that their cat is out of sorts and they want to know what's going on, I would definitely lay a bigger spread. I would lay the PT or the GT. But because I've done so many readings for Sabrina and a few for Salem as well, I thought I would get plenty of information from this small spread, and I think you'll agree. So let's see how much information we can get from this little old spread. All right. So, as always, I'll just show you how I start, right? Because so often, almost always, I already have the cards laid out because these are readings I've already done, and I'm recreating them, and you don't get to see how I did it. So I'm just going to show you quickly because that's a question I often get. Okay, so why is Salem sitting up here? He does not have to be. This is purely a visual. And this is a focus tool, okay, that, you know, charging a card. In this case, I charged this card, and I didn't even put it in the deck because in here is still the 18 dog card. I didn't need to put it in there. I mean, this is a reading for Salem. I don't need him to show up. I did this strictly for a visual. I set it here before I began. I wanted to focus on this, okay? And I'll just show you exactly what I did. I start, as always, by closing my eyes and finding my center through focused breathing, okay? And then I find my sacred place with my eyes closed. I'm looking at my inner screen, my little movie screen in my mind. And I find my sacred place, I call it, which is the place where I perform my readings, right? And then I invite whoever I'm reading for into that space, so I can see them in my mind. So I've already been looking at this card. I mean, I actually know what Salem looks like, but if I didn't, I would just be, you know, focusing on this card and bring it to my mind. And as I was shuffling, I am focusing on Sabrina and Salem, Sabrina and Salem, Sabrina and Salem. Okay, so I am putting that energy into the cards, and I am repeating it over and over so that I do not lose my focus, and I don't want to think about anything but Sabrina and Salem. Okay, and then I start focusing on my question. Okay. And I'm already telling the cards the spread I'm going to lay. I am going to lay 3 cards with houses, a 3-card spread with houses for Sabrina and Salem, okay? And then my question, what is my question for this? Why is Salem out of sorts was my question. So, you know, I'm focusing on that. Why is Salem out of sorts lately? Why is Sabrina's cat Salem out of sorts lately? So this is all the stuff that I'm saying very often out loud while I'm shuffling, okay? I then, when I'm drawing my cards, and this is how I draw them randomly, right? I tell the cards as I'm drawing them, first house, lay it, right? First visitor, I lay it, okay? Second house, I lay that. Second visitor. Okay, so that's how I do it. All right? That's how I did this. Okay. All right. Now, so these are the houses. These are the visitor cards. The first thing I do is I look at my houses because those are the backdrop, right? That's the scene. Those are the scenes of the story that's unfolding in front of me. So I got heart, moon, and ring. Those were the 3 houses that I got. So what do I know already from that? Well, the first thing I know just from those 3 houses is that there's some kind of an emotional issue regarding recognition and connection. Okay? So already those 3 houses gave me that information. I then look to my visitor cards, and I know just from looking at my visitor cards, without even putting any of this together yet, that we're dealing with something to do with security, something to do with change, and something to do with rules or isolation. Okay? So now let's look at some of the animal keywords for these cards. And I'm going to rattle them off, and I want you to start to try to pick up on a correlation among them. Okay? So, the heart. Animal keywords are affection, closeness, sensitivity, warmth, a favorite place, or the master bedroom. Often shows up as the master bedroom. Okay? Now let's go down to key. Finding a solution, locked, security, an important area, a safe place. Moon, nighttime, the bedroom, attention. Okay, recognition is attention. Okay. Stork is changes and restlessness. Okay. Ring, a continuous cycle, commitment, where precious objects are kept. Tower, a long time, boundaries, rules, confinement, isolation. Now, if you want to pause the video, go ahead and do that, because of all the things I just told you, many of these cards had keywords that had something in common, that were connected, okay? And that is what you are looking for. All right, so let's move on. Okay, so the first house is the scene for Act 1. And as a backdrop, let's choose favorite place. Okay? We can always change our minds later, but you got to start somewhere. All right? The key falls here, and I immediately think of being locked out of a favorite place or a safe place. All right? Next, the house of the moon can also represent a place, and if it represented a place, and this is the backdrop, this is the house card, right? It would be the master bedroom, or a place where the pet spends the night. Okay? Could be either one of those. But we already have a correlation here, right? Okay. So, I'm going through this, and you know, when I was doing the reading, I was going through this and I was writing these things down. Okay? Now the visitor card for Moon here is the card of change. So now I'm seeing that there's been a change in the sleeping arrangements or a change in the amount of attention that Salem is getting. Okay? Now the last house is the ring, and as a backdrop, it's a place where continuous connection has taken place, and it can also represent a place where precious objects are kept. Now where do most people keep their precious objects, like their jewelry and everything? Well, we already have a correlation among all 3 of these cards, don't we? Bedroom. Okay, so the master bedroom was screaming at me at this point. Okay, so the last visitor card is the Tower, and it's telling me that there are new rules or boundaries that have changed the normal nighttime routine. Okay? Also, as a longevity card, it correlates with the continuous cycle meaning of the ring, right? A continuous cycle that's been taking place for a long time, that's been in place for a long time, has changed. Okay? The Tower is also the card of boundaries and isolation. So I now have a solid picture in my mind that I can ask Sabrina about, right? Because we have isolation and boundaries, and we have being locked out of a safe place, a favorite place, and we have a change in, you know, the amount of attention he's getting or nighttime routine. So, you know, I'm already forming a little story. So, the last thing I do, my final step with this reading, if you remember from the last video, if you saw the last video, is that I check my first house and my last visitor card to see how this story progressed, because this is where the story began and this is where it ended, right? So the Tower, if we were to put Tower in the House of Heart, that's confirming that Salem is feeling isolated by new rules that separate him from the affection that he normally gets in his favorite place. So now when I told this to Sabrina, she didn't get it right away. She was like, no, nothing has changed. I don't, you know, like she could not figure it out. And then all of a sudden the light bulb went on because I just kept telling her what I was seeing. And then all of a sudden she got it, right? And she said, wait a minute. Okay, because here's the story. It's hot here in the Northeast. And Sabrina does not have central air this summer. It's the first summer in this. She's lived in this house for 4 years. This is the first summer she doesn't have central air because it broke, and the landlord said he couldn't fix it this year, and what he did is he brought her over window units, which she thought, well, that's fine as long as I'm cool, you know, whatever. So, but the thing is, window units are rather expensive to run, and what she started doing is at night she would turn off the window units in the rest of the house and just leave the one on in the bedroom and then close the bedroom door to keep it cool in there, okay? So Salem would start out in the bedroom with her, and he'd be on the bed with her, and they'd be doing their normal evening, you know, thing. And but then at some point, he would get up and he'd be at the door meowing because he's used to coming and going, right? So he would get up and meow, and she'd be just about falling asleep, and she'd hear him, and she'd get up and let him out and close the door, thinking, well, you know, I don't know what he does when I'm sleeping. I guess he goes out into another room. And she would fall asleep then, and then she would not hear him when he wanted to come back in because she was sound asleep. But he couldn't get back in, which is what he normally does. He's normally going in and out, in and out. So that was it. You know, case closed. So what I told her is that if she wants to keep Salem happy, she's going to have to cough up the extra cash and run at least one other unit at night. I mean, it's a little cooler at night, so she doesn't have to run them all. But and I suggested that she put them all on low energy saver mode and maybe buy a pedestal fan for her bedroom, just to give her a little additional relief in the bedroom, and maybe just leave that door cracked so he could get in and out. And my final suggestion was ask the landlord to put a cat door into the bedroom door. You know, install a cat door. Anyway, yeah, so there you go. That's it, my friends. Again, please give this video a like if you found anything useful, and hit that subscribe button so you'll be notified every time I post a new video. And stay tuned, a lot more animal communication videos ahead. Thanks for watching, everybody, and have a great day. Now go and connect with your pets. Bye-bye.